Hi, everybody. I'm here with your favorite astrologer, Andrei,
Hi, everyone.
at Astrology Alert.
Hello, everyone. Good to see everyone.
And so, where are you vacationing today?
I don't know. It's just, it's a nice background. Let's
It's
just say that.
beautiful. It's
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. It's a bit like where I live. The Northwest has a lot of scenes like this, so it's not completely off. But if you ask me where it is, I have no idea.
Yeah,
It's home. It's my home.
right. So, apparently, you just had a look-see at Trump recently.
Yeah. Well, the Trump situation, I had said this back in December that right around now and into like March,
February, March.
like all of February and into early March, it's very, very dicey because there is intense pressure on there. And once I saw Fonnie Willis say, what did she said, decisions are imminent. Those were her
Imminent.
words.
Yeah, the grand jury has a few more things to cover.
Right. So that's probably what it could be, but it might be the Jack Smith documents as well, or both, or some other thing. The point is, this is difficult territory. There is one interesting angle that is kind of a flyby that benefited him, because just as this is happening, like a little ago, about a week ago, the Saturn angle was favorable. So that's the thing with Facebook letting him back on. But to me, with Trump, everything he gets, he'll screw it up one way or the other. So I'm not worried about him, going back on Facebook.
Back when Twitter opened the door, he wasn't going on Twitter. He said he wasn't going, but he couldn't go because he made an agreement with Truth Social that he wouldn't go back to these things because they'll lose money.
Right. But I mean, Trump, I think he's making noise about, some of his messages seem to imply that he's going to leave Truth Social and make an excuse to go back, because he said,
well, it's all about money and getting money for running for his campaign. But he's going to, I don't know if he's going to jail, but he's going to be indicted, and there's so much stuff, and he needs money. He wants people to feel sorry for him.
Yeah, well, by the way, that is his genius. And this is one of the things that I often feel a kind of fury when I see some of these Trumpers that visit my channel and insult me about how I'm deluded about how much of a genius Trump is and how much of a corrupt communist Biden is, this kind of nutty thinking. And then I think, well, you think I'm deluded and you're sending this guy money? In a way, think about it. He doesn't even care if he never gets elected again, because if he runs now and then, tries to run, loses, like for sure he's going to lose whether he runs or not.
He'll never
just say, oh, look, they ripped me off again. Send me more money so that I can fight to make America free. And these idiots will keep sending him money. So what do you say?
You can't.
Yeah, there's nothing you can say.
And he doesn't even like the people. He commented about how gross the people were that stomped the Capitol. He commented about them, how they looked and how,
right.
He's got his nose up in the air, which is so interesting.
Yeah, but they may be gross, but they're a source of money. That party's got.
Yeah, that woman that's suing him for the assault that happened to her. He initially said he'd never even met her before, and there's all kinds of pictures of her with him.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know her.
Yeah, you don't know her. I know it's remarkable, but that's another thing, that part of his chart that extends forever, like well into the next decade. The notion that women are going to be this guy's torment, which, by the way, they already sort of are, because you notice, where's all the trouble coming from? Fonnie Willis, it's a woman, right? Or there'll be a judge who is a woman who will say explicitly, you're nothing but a crook, and implicate him in something. And so, but this will continue and almost certainly bring in women like E. Jean Carroll, whom he's harmed. It won't be the only one. So,
she's going to win for sure.
Yeah, well, is that your feeling, that she's going to win?
Oh, yeah, she's going to win. It's a monetary thing, but she's going to win.
Well, you'll have to pay a bunch of money. Yeah.
And the other thing is, You had been telling us since the moment, whose show were you on that I saw and I said, was it Debbie Freebird Spirit or?
No, I
You
don't
were
think
on a
so.
show and I said, holy crap, I gotta get that guy.
To
Debbie
which,
has a lot of very interesting people on her show.
you mean are you talking about the timing of something that I
Yeah,
said?
way back when I first discovered you, you were on a different show. You were on somebody's show.
Ah, yeah, it might have been, yeah, one of it, probably, it could have been Black and Orange Tarot, or,
Yeah,
one of
or
those
yeah,
shows. Yeah.
somebody's show. And oh my God, you came on and you showed us the chart. You showed us February, March of the spring. And at that time, we're like, why so long? But you showed us
Yeah.
February, March.
Well, and by the way, I mean, it extends. Like, the thing with Trump is these are all points where you have to think of it as him being he's like in a boxing bout where he's losing. He's getting punched out slowly. He's losing on points. People are looking for the knockout. And yeah, the knockout can come at any moment, but it's not like things get better. Say he gets through this and he's still not fully indicted yet, but you're just seeing signs or something, or you're seeing brewing trouble. It doesn't matter, because as 2023 continues, things don't get better. They get worse. That's the way it is. He's got different points at different, as the months elapse, they continue taking him down. That's the thing to focus on, because what drives people nuts is that the legal system is so slow, and Trump is a master at delaying. Like, say they charge him tomorrow, he'll just appeal all the way to the Supreme Court.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
And so then if you're expecting immediate action, you're not going to get it. It's just not going to happen, right?
Well, there was just an article out, I don't know if it was New York Times or something, but they said that him and his cohorts were really hoping that Justice Thomas would put a stop to the counting of the votes so they could get more time. To say it was a fraud. They were going to get him because they knew he was the only one that would say yes.
Yeah, right. But the problem he has is that you need 5 votes. It's not enough to get one vote. I mean, that's
But like an emergency stay, you know how sometimes one of the judges will be in charge of an emergency stay.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing with Trump that's really fascinating is that his whole life he's been able to use a message, like an argument, a way of saying something to get his way. And he's actually managed to get pretty far in our political system by making up stuff. He just says things that are completely untrue, keeps repeating it, and he's gotten pretty far. But you can only go so far before you get a lot of opposition, because it would totally gravely damage the system if you don't bring him to account. So,
well, did you hear Eastman? They're going to take his license away.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Does it surprise you? I mean,
no. Did you ever look at him, or did you even have a chance?
Yeah, no, I did look at him, and you can see that he's got trouble. Same with Giuliani. Giuliani is a major trouble, because all his planets are getting hammered. And by the way, for good reason. People sometimes will say, "Oh, I have the same planet as so and so." Well, the question is, have you robbed any banks? Have you cheated on your taxes? Because things don't happen, for no reason. They generally happen for a reason. Right. Giuliani is meeting the consequences of what he did. It's not complicated.
It's unfortunate, but it does come. Not unfortunate. It's fate.
It's the way it works. I mean, a lot of what happens in life, you can blame it on fate. But if you've been, extorting people, lying, cheating, breaking the law, why are you surprised when the law brings you to account? It's like
so
that.
Have you looked at Adam Schiff's chart at all, or?
I did. In fact, someone asked this on my channel, and it looks pretty good. His odds going into 24 they look good to me.
Who's he running? Who else is running? Katie. I always say the wrong name. Is it Katie Hobbs or
Katie Porter? Maybe
Katie Porter. Is
she running for the same seat?
She's running for she announced a long time ago, and everybody was saying, because a lot of people like her. I like her too, and they're saying, "Oh my God, is she going to win?" And I saw no. And then when Adam Schiff announced, I said, "Oh, that's probably why."
Well, I mean, Schiff. I mean, you can get into the man-woman argument and all of that stuff, but Schiff, he's really competent. I see him as a really sharp person. In fact, I've often thought not exactly the most charismatic person, but he'd make a
No,
great
he's not.
president because he has a really good mind and really tunes into what's going on, and I think that's why people respect him. And
The only thing Trump could come up with him was calling him watermelon head or pumpkin head or something.
yeah, and Shifty Schiff and all that. He hates Schiff because Schiff sees through him, clearly,
Right.
And he says it in very clear language, very artful ways. So Trump especially hates him for that. But 2024, now I should look at Porter too, because once you see the race, you can compare. But just looking at his, it looks really good. So
my prediction is that Dianne Feinstein will retire, and I see her saying Schiff, that she's for Schiff taking her seat.
well, that's interesting.
Which, like, she recommends him because, he's been in the business way longer than Katie. Not that Katie's not capable, but I just felt, the reason Katie Porter threw her hat in so early is it cost her a lot of money to run for the seat she has now, more than she expected. So she needs money is why she's doing it. So
yeah, I mean, the thing is that this part of our politics is it's annoying. I mean, I have Adam Schiff on my feed, and I get texts and
oh my
emails
God.
like
And it's the
5
same
times a
type
day.
of text with every person running.
Yeah, and it's
I
always
need to ask you, this is an emergency. Whoever writes these things, they're doing the same thing.
yeah. I mean, Democrats are always complaining, or at least the people that write about it, they'll say, "Oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's saying something outrageous, then she goes and raises money from it." Well, so do the Democrats.
So they say, did you hear what Marjorie Taylor Greene said?
Send me some money.
So speaking of Marjorie Taylor Greene, you got any info on her lately?
Well, I did a video on her like a few days ago. She's in the same bag, let's call it that, as Kevin McCarthy. 2023 is not good. They're both going to work themselves into a major problem. As we move into the spring and summer, it gets really, really dicey. Whenever you see people that are this unwise, this removed from reality, really, that's what it really is. Saturn transits are really hard, and both of them are under a lot of Saturn, right? So
right.
Yeah, not good.
Well, she just lost the first thing she brought forth. She said that President Biden, they wanted to stop President Biden from selling oil, and she lost 4 to 414.
What? Oh, you mean in the
she
vote?
Brought up to Congress her
well,
first, whatever you call it, their bill or whatever.
Like
President Biden from selling oil, and I think, or maybe she got 14 votes, and 400 and something said.
Okay, so I mean, think about that, right? If you're in Congress, okay, so where's your brain? First, walk around and ask some people, are you going to vote for this? And if you start noticing that most people are telling you no, don't bring the vote up because that'll reflect on you. It's just remarkable to me that these people, in the end, they don't think it through. This is where a guy like McConnell, for instance, he may be evil, but he's a lot smarter than a lot of these people.
And Nancy Pelosi too. She always made sure she had the votes.
Exactly. So you don't do something and then get outscored 300 to nothing and claim it as a win. That's not a good look, So
I think she actually thought she was queen for a day. I think she thought, they'll go anything against Biden, they'll go for it.
Well, I mean, the only thing funnier than that is when people say that she's going to be Trump's running mate. That's fine. He'll never pick her as his running mate because Trump is the shallowest, most venal person you can find. And did you hear that he said that he didn't make what's her name, Nikki Haley? He didn't make her something or other, Secretary of State. I don't know what it was, because he didn't like her complexion. So I mean, it's so venal, and I don't think he likes Marjorie Taylor Greene look, the way she looks. So on that alone, there's no way he's going to make a choice like that. So
how about the Lake woman, Kerry Lake? She lost another thing that she filed with the courts.
Well, she's the thing about her is, for sure, in the following many months into early 2024, she is on the early side of Virgo. And so when you're on the early side, the Saturn right now is opposing you. And the way she's carrying on, I think it's just totally fruitless. She's going to get nowhere. And I think she's made a bad bet for the longer term, because that's a separate rule that I use in my head when I think, don't associate with people that are losers. Why would you get around Trump? And, what are you thinking about? Like, you mean like as a partner? Is that what you're getting at with the question, that in case he chooses her?
Well, I often thought that she thought that she would be his running mate.
That's, I would say with Kerry Lake, it's more of a possibility, but neither of them is going to profit from that.
No.
It'll like, to me, she'll do damage to herself, and he's always doing damage to himself. So with him, it's not news, but her, if she got the nomination to be, or if she got the choice to be a VP, it would not help her. It would hurt her in the longer term. In the near term, it would be like MTG. She'll think she's winning, and gaining something.
So have you taken a look at Putin lately?
Yeah, Putin is, we've said this in the past, that the spring change and the Saturn cycle change in the spring puts it in a long-term meaning 3 solid years, where it really threatens his health, and it's not well aligned for victories, and no, it's not working well. He's been doing this thing since last year, and he's still in it up to about May or so, where he's throwing a lot of resources, like really expanding into something, this whole idea of more missiles, more energy, but he's losing. And so my sense is it's going to get worse as we go into 2023. What do you feel about it?
I see Putin dying. I see his health going straight downhill.
Well,
he might have doubles coming in on him, but he just, because he's mad that we're giving tanks. But it's everybody giving tanks. So he killed a bunch of civilians again last night, 11, I think, total. Hitting, doing criminals, injustices of war, because he's a big bully.
Yeah, well, I don't. My feeling has always been this is not going to end well for Putin. I mean, you had said way back. I remember you saying the guidance I'm getting is that he's running for the hills. He's running away.
And when the war started, the guides told me not to worry because I was so panicked. They said this is the beginning of the end of Putin.
Yeah, that's how I would paint it. In 23, it's worse than 22. It's that simple, because deteriorating health, there aren't any good alignments to help him out. It's a loser. And this guy, remember we said this in a prior show where we said that his opportunity was back in 2016. If he does it then, probably Ukraine would be Russian now, and we wouldn't be able to do anything about it. But the timing he chose was completely off. He just misread it. He read Biden wrong. He didn't think that Biden would do what he did. And, because even one of them is the Germans, right? The Germans were hedging on the tanks, but then they sent the tank. So,
I mean, I feel that when this ends in the Putin reign, we're going to come to a better agreement with Russia. Somebody else is coming in there that's more agreeable.
Okay, I can't say whether that's true or not, but let's just say that it makes sense to me, just because I'll use logic on this one. When you get beaten up, you usually, try to avoid it in future.
Well, the people, there's, like Mel said, he has a lot of friends from Russia and the Ukraine, and he said they absolutely hate Putin.
Yeah, and does it surprise you? Look at the way the guy behaves. He's caused a major exodus out of the country. A lot of people with talent have left, lost a lot of lives lost. Like, one of the things that happens with these wars is that as the days and weeks are passing, more and more mothers become aware of the loss of their children, which is what happened in Afghanistan. That's what caused the Soviet Union to eventually have to abandon the war, because the familial energy in Russia became very hostile. And this is going to happen again, I think, to Putin, because he's hiding it for now, but eventually it grows and grows into a resistance. And they don't have the resources. Like, Russia is trying to fight way too big an enemy with too many resources. The European Union and America together is a lot of money, a lot of ability to supply Ukraine. It's a big problem, big
Yeah,
problem.
right.
Because I bet you if now they're saying that if the tanks don't do it, then they're going to supply them with air power, and then God help you if that
They
happens.
will.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that Ukraine is going to win this war.
Well,
And if something happens and they actually hit or kill Zelensky, which I'm not prophesizing that, I'm just saying, if something were to happen, I see the nations just furious and coming down on Russia even harder.
yeah, I thought Zelensky, my sense of Zelensky was he was in more danger when the war started.
When it first started, yes.
When it first started, and even now until really March, April, because that's a big switch. He's an Aquarius, so the Saturn getting out of Aquarius is going to help him. It's going to help him. Period. Because
when is that?
March 10th. From March 10th
Okay.
forward, the same
and with
thing
the planetary, sometimes you'll feel the goodness right before.
Yeah, that's right. Although you feel it before, and it also gets more clear as the cycle changes. Like this Saturn switch into Pisces affects many people because it switches the pressure on the signs. So whatever sign you are, it either becomes more or less favorable. But remember, if you say more or less favorable in a normal person's life, it's not like, who is having to account for invading an entire country. That's a big step.
Right.
It means that the energy of the planets gets hugely amplified, right?
Right.
So the effects are much bigger. For Zelensky, he's been forced to endure. Well, he hasn't been killed, but he endured a lot of death. That was the thing that I had seen at the time, that the death planet was threatening him, but didn't kill him. But he's been forced to see some awful things. Look what's happened to Ukraine. The pictures you see on TV are brutal. They're totally.
We don't even see the worst.
Yeah, but it's bad.
I know Biden has seen something because I know he's furious. And I think it has something to do with the children.
Yeah, and who wouldn't be? It's it's horrible. It's horrible. That in 2022 you would see behavior like this by a world leader.
Grown men attacking children. That just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So listen, I told you about the Russian, the FBI who was a traitor and compromised. And because his ex-girlfriend was mad at him, she let the FBI know, why does my ex-boyfriend have all these bags of cash in his house?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gee golly.
Dead giveaway, right?
Oh my God, what an idiot. He left bags of cash laying around.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's found out he was the one who started giving intel to Russia and China. And China was apparently, a lot of the spies in China were being knocked off. And this was back in 2015. And then they were saying, what's going on? We must have a mole. We need to hire someone to investigate this. Well, they hired this guy. And so then they think right now, they're thinking that Trump has a lot to do with him, and that we're going to find out a lot of stuff, because Putin made fun of Trump. He said, yeah, I got all the intel. I got everything I need.
Yeah, well, nothing would surprise me around anything implicating Trump in crimes. First of all, because he's a criminal. He does crime for a living. He's a professional criminal, basically. That's what he does. That's one thing. And then the astrology supports that. So nothing would surprise me. Like, for example, if what you just said is what breaks out and the other stuff goes to the back burner temporarily, that would work too. Yeah, because it's totally. Didn't you see the thing on? They were talking yesterday about how Barr was traveling with that Durham character.
That was the next thing I was going to ask you about.
I thought that was hilarious when they went to Europe and they were asking the Italians and the Brits, hey, can you give us something to so we can absolve Trump of his Russia connections? And the Italians, actually came up with these crimes that he had committed, right? So they had
Financial crimes.
financial crimes. So they had to hide it, which is pretty much what you always expect with Trump, right? You look under the rock, you don't find good things there. They're always bad things.
And may I ask you, I think it's going to come out again. I think they're going to find it.
Yeah, again, would not be surprised in the least. I mean, the thing is, this is, goes to something else, that comment that someone made on my channel, where the person said that they're an empath and that they're often very upset about all the news that are taking place. And they were, she asked me if we could bring it up when you and I talked about what you can do, to feel better. And one of the things is that I would say, top of the list would be figure out ways to soothe yourself and relax yourself, and don't watch things that are going to upset you too much.
News. Yeah,
that's basic stuff, right? So, but secondly, you can encourage yourself by seeing just how unbelievably, honestly, these people are often really stupid. They do things that are moronic, and they jump in, like this Durham thing. He spent all that time and then he couldn't get any convictions because he didn't have a case. Or I saw yesterday this thing where Fox News was carrying it wall to wall, saying, "Oh, there's this thing going on, and Barr and going to Europe," and then they have egg on their face, because what ends up happening is the opposite of what they were looking for. But it's classic. The right wing these days, there aren't too many smart people in there. Includes Tucker Carlson, who will bring up these crazy stories, made up stuff that makes no sense, that doesn't turn out because it's not registering in logic. It's completely out of touch. So that should encourage you, to feel like, yes, we're in a tough period, but we can win this battle if we just stay on course and continue voting. That's the key thing. Always, show up and vote. Because
in this Durham thing, Durham had a really good record. He was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
he's got egg on his face now.
Yeah, why? Because he got within a mile of Trump.
Yeah,
that's it.
And Barr too. Barr, I often saw Barr in trouble, and then he kind of wrote that book with his Nothing Burger book, and then I saw him slithering off, and I thought, gee, I saw him getting in trouble. Well, this could be the thing that gets him in trouble.
Yeah, there's a possibility. Yeah, for sure. I mean, and he
has this information on the president doing financial crimes, and you never said anything to us.
Well, I mean, look, at minimum, the one thing about Barr, by the way, this is a lot of these people, and again, not to insult Geminis, because I've seen that on my channel too, that people say, oh my God, these people that are all these crooks are Geminis. No, I mean, there are many, many Geminis that are not crooks. But it is true that in this era, there are a lot of crooked Gemini politicians, because,
because they can talk out both sides of their faces.
Yeah, right, exactly. They talk it like Trump is a Gemini, Barr is a Gemini. Thing about that is that the Saturn shift into Pisces is not good for Gemini. And I believe, don't have it in front of me right now, but I think Barr is an early Gemini. So he will, it's correct what you're saying, he'll feel it during the rest of this year and into early next year. So yes, entirely possible that he gets embroiled, but I don't know how far. The thing about Barr is that the thing with him is he's pretty sharp around staying out of deep trouble. So he may find a way to not be in super big trouble, because that's really what it is about for Barr. When he saw how far Trump wanted to carry it, he said, no.
He was done. He was done.
I mean, he was doing all kinds of things that were pretty bad. I mean, when he was attorney general, but when it came to overthrowing the government.
No, I mean, he squashed the Mueller report.
Right.
And people, I get so upset. I can understand why they think that, but they're like, oh, that Mueller report was a nothing burger. No, it wasn't.
No. It's all there. I mean, that's the thing.
He did the best he could do with everybody pointing a gun at him.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the thing that, Trump, every chance he gets to his people, he tells them the Russia hoax, the Mueller hoax, because that's what he wants them to think. But no, the Mueller report clearly points to obstruction of justice. Now, the thing is, obstruction of justice is a very serious crime, but that was under the Barr regime. That's not going to be treated the same way in this administration. You can't let those things go. If you let them go, the entire system falls apart, because then people realize, well, if that guy can do it, why can't I do it? I mean, it becomes like a precedent.
Well, that agent, that FBI agent who just got arrested, I could see him squealing like a pig. I see him throwing names, whatever he can do, but I still see him serving many years. Actually, he could be executed for treason. But
Really? That's
I
fine.
see maybe to spare his life, they just leave him in prison, but his future is terrible.
No, and the thing is, people like that are a major threat to people like Trump or whoever they have information on, because they'll trade what they know to lower their sentence. So
Well,
it's
let me tell you
extremely
something.
risky.
He is being, if China or Russia could kill him first, they would.
Yeah, that's true too, especially Russia, right? Russia, they're always looking to put some polonium in your tea.
Right. And I've been saying that who was that guy that had that island? Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein.
Mhm.
I've been saying he was murdered. I've been saying it till I'm blue in the face. Barr had visited him the day before and they had a woman dressed up like an attorney, but it was a young girl dressed up in a suit that went up to the attorney room with him, and they gave him time with this girl, like 3 hours. I figured that was like, oh, I'm going to gift you this because guess what, dude, you're dying tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
What's her face said it out loud, his partner in crime, Giselle, or what was her name? Ghislaine.
Yeah, Ghislaine.
She said, I mark my words, Jeffrey was murdered. And he was, I'm telling you, it's interesting. The cameras stopped working. Nobody's around to witness this. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that totally. Like in charts, when you see type of energy that could kill you, it's hard to know though whether it's suicide or murder or some other thing. So,
right.
But yeah, I could totally see that, because Epstein had terrifying information on people, and
Oh, yeah.
it would have caused horrific trouble. So yeah, I could totally see that. And then the thing is, bringing that out, the other problem you run into is that is people in those places it's the money. Like, if someone will know, but if you can buy them off by saying, you know this, but here is this many million, and so then it may never come out, and that's a problem. Right?
Well, this guy, I immediately felt people would love to get in there and take him out.
Yeah, like I could.
Because he's going to blab. I'm going to tell you, he's going to tell all his connections.
Huh. Yeah, well, and you feel this implicates Trump too?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, well,
I've been telling everybody till I'm blue in the face. Mark my words, Trump will be found to have been an illegitimate president. Russia got him in that office. Russia and China. And Hillary said it too. You know, Hillary, everything she said is the gospel truth sometimes.
oh yeah, no, Hillary for sure.
She said Russia got him in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's remarkable that, the people's attention span and their education, they're not keeping track. Remember Hillary in the debate, one of the debates with Trump, said, "You're just Putin's puppet."
Yes.
And I mean, now fast forward, you see that image, and then you fast forward to Helsinki. He was a total puppet.
Nobody could take notes.
Oh well, it's like he's fawning over, Putin. So clearly, she told you, right?
And that's why he sent Barr and everybody in Durham to prove that he wasn't in Russia's pocket. Remember, he wanted this office. He kept talking about it. And when Trump keeps talking about it, usually means he's guilty of that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then the thing is, you can carry like a message, a con message. You can sell real estate. You can even sometimes start a cult. You can do things like that. This is a tough game to play, because in the end, you got to produce evidence, and it's really difficult to get your way. And I often think, when I see Trump saying the crazy things he says, like, for instance, about the documents, this and that, good, argue that in court, see how far it gets you. Go and tell the judge that the records are yours, that Biden couldn't declassify. By the way, that whole thing that he keeps saying about declassifying, that's not the argument. It doesn't matter whether they're classified or not. You're not supposed to have those records. Right. That's what's really in play. But he keeps making it seem like because he can declassify things because he's president, that it makes a difference. It doesn't make any difference.
Well, the thing is, he tried to make an agreement with the record keepers. There's a name for them. Give me everything you have about me and Russia, and I'll give you the rest of these. What does that tell you?
That tells you that he's worried about Russia. Yeah, of course.
He's phobic about it because he knows if they get down and dirty, which is about ready to do, thanks to this arrest of this other guy, they're going to find out that he is, in fact, an illegitimate president, that he was put in by Russia. And Italy having these financial crimes, is that something to do with his presidency? We're about ready to find that too. Find that out too.
Very, very possibly. There's also another astrology movement happening in his chart that is really rare. It's this thing that you get every so many years, like the ascendant is progressing really slowly. So it'll spend 20 years in a sign or sometimes longer. And it just so happens that it's switching signs in, I think it's August of 23. And it moves into a really unfavorable place because it puts a lot of his planets in the area of like prisons and losses. And so in other words, that's another like entryway into even more trouble, right? Going into the future from there. So you just see these different indicators that tell you this is not going to a good place. Although you could have seen it back in 2017, by the way, in a way you could see this thing building and building. In the end, the man in the end, he's like a hardened criminal, and these things eventually catch up with you. They just do. It's too hard to hold it up. So
yeah. All right, my friend. Can you believe nearly an hour has already passed?
Yes. Well,
we start chit-chatting, it don't stop.
You and I get going. I know it's you bring up everything. Everything comes into the foreground.
Well, you know what? Do us a favor. Look up that guy's name because I'm sure his birthday will be in there. The rat fink.
The FBI guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, that with some of these people, right away you get the Wikipedia entry or something with his birthday, but some people you don't. Like, for instance, I have yet to see a confirmed Jack Smith date. It's just not there. And you never know. Like, I'll have to look up his name, but it may not be available. So if it is, then I'll take a look. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Jack Smith is coming, getting ready. I'm telling you. I know we get excited, then we don't hear nothing, but Fanny's the one who's going to hit first.
You sense that, Fanny?
Fanny's the one.
Yeah, well,
she's
but
itching for it. She's itching for it.
Like, it's so remarkable. Isn't it amazing that it, like the ultimate gaslighter, who says that was the perfect call, and you're thinking, really?
I know.
The perfect call is just give me 11,780 votes, which is what I'm short.
On record, big as can be.
I know, on record.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And listen, everybody, I want to just plug my junk removers, Sonoma Junk, if you live out in Sonoma County. They were just here before you and I were on. Very reasonably priced, very kind people, and they come and remove your junk. Oh, and I got a lot of it. I just got rid of my ex-husband with them just a minute ago.
Too bad that I'm looking for that too, but I'm in Seattle, so I'll have to look for
no. Oh, these guys, when you find something great, if y'all live in Sonoma, write me, because I have found great electricians, great plumbers, great nail lady. Okay, bye. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
We'll see you soon. Whoop.